favorite day of the week. You guys already know. We come at you though throughout the whole week, but this is the culmination of everything that's happened. So here we are addressing the end of the week topics with you guys. So I'm here with my dudes, my brothers. We're gonna make we do things. First thing is, do not blame us for your ill-gotten financial decisions. So as it stands right now, we are here strictly giving our personal opinions. We are not advising you to do anything. However, if you want to hire us and or get official advisement, you can contact us outside of this platform. But as it stands right now, this is honestly just to inform you guys of how our brain thinks, what we think is important for you guys to know, and honestly just educate you guys as much as possible, because that's what we care about. Second thing is, every week, one of us picks 3 articles that we think are important for this particular week to discuss, to tell you guys about. And so this week was G-Man's week. We got some great articles, some great information, some very relevant information so that you guys can review, be more prepared for the future. And last but not least, share with 5 people. All right. So as of right now, there's just not enough education being spread amongst one another. That's cool. You want to send memes and funny videos. Send something that's going to help somebody actually not work until they're 90 years old, which is this. So that being said, what's up, y'all? I get to be with G, so I know Jeremiah jealous.
This is the first Financial Friday that we actually were both in the studio together.
This is true. Normally I'm at the Mountain House. Y'all can blame Net's job for that.
Rico, what's up, brother?
I understand, man. No, man, we're doing good. I like what Cam said. Hey, man, send us to 5 people that really need it. Understand that, we're about to get into it today, but just understand that if you don't provide them the information, you can't talk trash or you can't talk bad about those people. Because you haven't provided them with the information. So get 5 people, share it, like it. It depends on whatever platform you're on. Just get the information to people that need the information.
Yeah, I agree. I think we just have to do a better job of sharing more information, more value with our community. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy for me to, like Cam and you have mentioned, it's easy for me to just send you a meme like, hey, check out this funny meme. But how much more valuable, how much more of a price or investment am I pouring back into my circle of folks by just, hey, I just checked this video out, or I just came across this quote or read this article. When you get 3 to 5 minutes, go and take a look at this. So that's what I'm about.
Yep. And we're funny. We're entertaining. I mean,
some of us.
Yeah. Nice balance.
So all right. So we're gonna pull up the first article. G. I'm sure everybody's been hearing the buzz about it.
Yeah.
So tell them what's up.
Yeah. So this one. So lately we've been seeing. I feel like we always see Zuckerberg and Elon Musk's name in the articles, right? And so, some people are looking forward to their cage match if that happens.
Yo, if it happens at the Coliseum, oh my God.
But more importantly, right? Like I like to see how competitive they are outside of the cage. And so this article, obviously earlier in the week, about a week ago, Elon Musk, announced some updates when it comes to the Twitter accounts, right? And I think it was a nice chess move for Mark Zuckerberg and his team as far as the execution of Threads, right? And so this particular article talked about how Threads hits 30 million users a day after the launch, right? And then it says putting Musk's Twitter's account, are they putting their backs against the corner?
Yeah.
Is Elon Musk even really worried about it? But I like we often talked about being competitive. They have a different competition. Like they just don't like each other, right?
For sure.
But I think that being in the space of how much we're growing globally when it comes to AI, when it comes to technology, just when it comes to even investing in that standpoint, I thought that this was a great article to kind of highlight because it's been a talk this week. And so even with this, I seen within the article, the CEO of Twitter had commented, and she was basically like, hey, listen, you can, like, folks can try to copy us, but you can try to imitate us, but you can't duplicate us, right? And so it was, again, just from that standpoint, from a business leadership standpoint of making sure you're staying relevant. Mark Zuckerberg and his team being very, very strategic on the execution of this, right? They have had to know some things behind the scenes to execute this in this timely fashion, right? And so, and in speaking with that, even though so it talks about how Twitter, as far as Mark Zuckerberg receiving a letter because of possibly being sued as well. So this is going to be an ongoing thing. But the amount of people is interesting because obviously it's the platform, the people who use the platform that make the platform, right? And so with 30 million users, day one, building accounts, this will be interesting to see. Will Threads be the new and improved Twitter? I mean, a lot of the visuals look identical, but I wanted to get you guys' take on this. Folks that are tuning in, feel free to chime in the chat box as well.
Yeah, so if you're watching, please tell us what you guys think. If you downloaded Threads, go ahead and tell us you did. I messaged Rico and I said, I'm going to need you to go download this right now. He's like, I already knew about this. What do you believe the high point would be to do this? So my personal opinion, I actually really like how Threads is connected to IG because it's kind of seamlessly goes back and forth, right? And it was super easy to set up, smart, and a lot of people don't know, and this is a chess move once again by Zuckerberg, is that in order to delete your Thread account, you have to delete your IG. It's in the terms and conditions that a lot of people didn't realize. I don't care just because I do this is whatever. But there's some people that are like, oh man, this is blood in, blood out. And so that being said, the biggest thing to understand is the chess move, right? Yes. And so so there's that thing that says that supposedly Elon Musk has pretty much issued a cease and desist because of Threads, because it says that they are cheating in essence, right? And so, but I think he is worried because literally the day that Threads came out, they increased the Twitter character amount because people were tweeting about Threads so much. So Threads literally in one day automatically made Twitter kind of renege on something. So one of the things that they have tried to crack down on recently, which is forcing people to go to Threads in the first place. And even though a lot of the features are great, people honestly want platforms right now that are honestly a little bit simpler. Because there's alt text, there's geolocation, there's stories, there's reels. A lot of people just want a message on this, so it'll see. And yes, as in Marcello, if I mess it up, please tell me. But yes, blood in, blood out. Great movie. Check it out. Miklo.
What's your thoughts, man?
This is I think I always have to do the shameless plug, but 3 weeks ago, I told you. I told you Zuckerberg has been quiet, right? So we had that conversation.
We did.
And I said, bro, he's been super quiet. He's got something. He's just sitting there waiting. And so shouts out to him. It was a super chess move. Obviously, like Cam said, you can't delete your Threads without deleting your IG. That's not happening. The seamless interplay between the two. You're able to add followers lightning quick from Instagram. Here's the thing. Those numbers are a bit skewed. I need people to understand this. Yes, it was 30 million in one day, but here's the difference. Twitter was brought up in 2009. Right. Just relative to technology and the way things move now and the way people are on social media, it's not fair to compare those numbers. Yeah. It's not even fair to compare the numbers of Instagram's growth to Threads because it's just a different time, right? You got AI, you got all this different technology that's going on. And so I see that number and I hear it. It's a false thing. It's kind of you didn't really win anything because everyone knows that technology it's more now, right?
Yep.
Great feat. But we understand that people, and then the way you linked it and stuff, obviously Meta knew what they were doing. It would make for easy adaptation. So respect to them in the chess move. I have a friend that was, he works at Meta. So I've been hinting at this and poking him. And I just said, well, what does it do long term, for the collaboration? And here's the thing, and what I need people to understand. World domination is achieved through collaboration.
Right.
Yep. So with everything that's happening with the BRICS nations, if we had Bezos Musk and Zuckerberg all sat down at the table and they came up with a love child, then that's going to benefit the United States. And so that's great. I think they should be looking to collaborate. I have some ideas. I still think it's going to happen. You can't kind of avoid it, but also at the same time, them competing is good for the United States. Companies at this high level, like these guys are they're in their own platform, right? Yeah. That's good for the US. When you have your top guys, right, of industry going at each other and making each other better and sharpening, and who ends up benefiting the most is us, the consumer, the client. They come out with better or cheaper, faster products, right? Things that are going to benefit us, whether it be from financially, and it means the financial, which obviously Thread is just another platform now that you can build a business, right? Or maybe you have I was looking at someone say last night, next thing you know, someone's going to have a growth serum for Threads. Like, I'm going to teach you how to grow your whatever, right? And so whatever you want to use it.
I said, who's going to come out with the course? Who's going to be the one
exactly
Threads AI course?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But it benefits us overall. And so you have to see that when captains of industry are going against each other and they're warring, who wins is the North American group of people. And actually the world benefits. We benefit first, and then obviously the world after that. And so I love it. I think it'll keep going on. This is the way it should be. They're both super focused right now, and that's the way it should be. We're like jumping leaps and bounds in technology with these decisions that they're making. Like, you don't even see it; it just keeps going up and up, and then the next one has to outdo the other one. And so I'm good with it. I like it.
Yep,
that's good.
And by the way, we have Meta stock. I'm just gonna say that. Let me say it again. We have Meta stock. Just put that out
there. Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, I think we touched on that for the viewers. I mean, obviously, this is going to be a contentious topic ongoing. So,
go follow us on Threads, me and Rico. Yeah. But Glenn will be on there by the end of the day once he leaves my house.
Yes, sir.
So we can tag it. I literally made a post about that for Financial Friday. Rico did it, and so I did it, and I said we got to get Glenn his Threads.
Yeah, because we just had to write Glenn Davis. I could tag Cam. I was like, oh, I got to write Glenn Davis.
You know what's funny? So last night I was up at 1 a.m. and I was about to download it, but then I started reading a financial article and I got distracted. So I was like, we're going to talk about it
financial article. He's like, oh, sorry, I was researching.
Exactly. No, but so the second article, speaking of financial articles, this one here, is titled "Investors Are Waiting for a Consumer Collapse," and so what's been interesting is that a month or two ago I went to the mall and it was like just super empty.
Oh, and yeah, there ain't no.
Yeah, I was, and then I was also talking about there's this years ago. There was this company called Art of Shaving, right?
Yes,
that was inside the malls.
I used to do that.
Yeah, and so when it first came out, I was like, "Yo, this is pretty genius," right? Now at the time, I wasn't thinking, "Hey, in the next 10, 20 years,
longevity."
Yeah, exactly. But I was just like, now when you go to malls, when you go to the Foot Lockers, a lot of times like they're empty, right? And so obviously COVID happened. Now, and we'll dive more into it in the next article, but folks are emptying out their accounts. They're not making as much money. And so this impacts our economy, right? And so in this particular article, it kind of dove into that. And I thought this would be interesting to touch on, from an investment standpoint as well, because you have folks that are maybe watching that are looking to invest, or they are currently investors in the stock market when it comes to from the Foot Lockers to the Nikes to all these type of things. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this particular article.
Go ahead, Rico. No.
I mean, let's be honest. This is something that has been on the minds of everyone. I want people to think about 2008, 2009, right? Amazon goes in, and what they had been doing since 2002 was learning the structure, right? The logistical structure of almost every major company in the United States. Why? Because everyone had outsourced their website shipping and inventory and things like that to Amazon. And so Amazon was running a lot of it. Case in point, obviously Toys R Us. Amazon was running their shipping, everything. They literally went in and saw every leak, every hole that company had, created their own infrastructure. And now you buy, there's no more Toys R Us, right? And now you buy toys from Amazon and it comes right to your house. I'm saying all that to say, if you haven't advanced and if you haven't realized that the digital revolution was not only when it comes to our technology, to our phones and the way that we communicate, it's in every facet of our lives. What does that mean? That means the way that you invest. That means the way you take pictures, the way you interact with your family. That means the way you shop. And so companies that fell behind or that couldn't keep up, right? They're now not even here anymore. And everyone's seemingly just waiting for this bubble to bust, you know, as things start to happen, right? People are starting to pull back money a little bit more because there's emergency things and things that are happening.
Right.
And when as they do that, here's the thing, the sentiment of people. And so people going out and shopping and spending money, it kind of goes hand in hand with it, right? We have these huge outlets with all these stores and things like that. People go out, right? It's a feeling of comfort. It's a feeling of being okay. Like, I'm comfortable. COVID's gone. I'm happy to be out the house. I'm going to go spend money somewhere. Versus when I pull back and when I start to feel more cautionary with my funds and I'm more intentional, I'm going to shop online at Amazon. Right. Do you see the way that correlates? Like, Amazon had record numbers during COVID. So I'm just letting you know just the sentiment that goes with shopping. And so as you start to have that fear, you know, and there's a little bit of fear mongering and it's stoked more and more and more, or it's not at all. And you're like, oh, they're lying, right? Then what do? You start shopping online. And so the consumerism, it starts to pull back, man. That's what I see. And the malls are, come on, let's be honest. The malls have been going dead.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Before COVID. Like, let's not front. 2017, 18, malls really started going down. Numbers, you saw people pulling back. Circus City, all these stores, everything started closing.
Yeah.
You know, and so it is what it is. I think we're in a place it feels a little weird, but the new norm will be the new norm, right? Everything was weird initially until it wasn't anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the internet was weird, right? Me talking to people. Remember when Cisco was the only company that you could do telecom services where you could talk face to face with someone, and then came Skype, and then there was Uvo, and then you see what I'm saying? And now it's not weird anymore, right? It's weird if you don't have that capability. And so that's what I see this as. Yeah.
I remember when Tegan and I were looking to invest in one of those game spots in the mall, where it was like a gaming lounge. And, you know, shortly after that, like, we just went with our gut, was like, hey, this just doesn't, like, the idea of it sounds good, but like, it just, again, going back to that intuition. And I'm glad we didn't invest in that, because a year later, COVID happened. And
So that's something, and that's something that you're seeing a lot of now too, with like San Francisco. There has like never been a city that a super city that has failed as hard as San Francisco is falling right now. You know, they just had, you know, the AT&T store pull out, you know, the legendary one that was, you know, down on Mission Street or whatever. And so these are those times, right? Online is coming more and more and more. And so Marcello, he asked, you know, let's talk about the downturn and how that could actually be beneficial for people. It's only beneficial if you're prepared for it. And we talked about this last Friday, is everybody thinks that intuitively, just because things go down, that there's an opportunity for you to get in and then go up. Well, if you're not prepared before all of that happens, then the opportunity means nothing to you. And that's one of the things that we talk about here, is how are you preparing for these monumental moments that will happen throughout time. You can look at the metrics. Rico talked about it last time. Every so often, these things will happen. And the people who gain the most are the people who were prepared. Yeah.
100%.
And so that being said, this is an opportunity for you to be educated and prepared, because like Rico said, everyone's sitting around waiting to see who's going to fall and who's going to collapse and who's going to gain. Malls are going out, retail spaces, all the types of businesses that run on those types of infrastructures. It's going to be make or break for them and how they evolve for the future in retrospect.
If you don't have a strong e-commerce, right, or website basis, and very strong logistical outlays, right? So you're like logistical supervisor or the person that's over logistics, that's a very important position right now. Because why? You're in competition with Amazon at all points of your business.
Right.
They have Prime. Man, they even got drones dropping off stuff. So I'm just letting you know, like, if you can't get that stuff to someone within a day, you're in trouble.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Marcello, by the way, I appreciate all the you chiming in, man.
For sure.
Hopefully we're saying it right.
Yeah. By the way, where's Simon Mall at? What city and state?
No, Simon
owns all about
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's a conglomerate. Yeah, it's a conglomerate.
I used to have their phones back in the day.
Simon.
All right, last one.
And the last one, yeah. So this one, obviously, with us being licensed fiduciaries, and we're, obviously in the community, teaching financial literacy and different things like this. This kind of spoke to me because growing up from a household where all we knew was debt.
Facts.
And to be a millennial, this particular article, the title is Millennials Face Record $4 trillion debt crisis. They're struggling with building wealth, home ownership, and retirement savings. These are three very, very important topics, which is why I wanted to kind of bring this to the platform so we can talk about it. And kind of going with preparation plus opportunity equals lucky. Yes. And so even with this, so this particular article was, there was a specific age range within the millenniums, ages 30 to 39, where it was talking about, hey, there's a really, we're in a really bad time as millennials, aged 30 to 39, right?
Like me and Rico are.
I wasn't even going to mention it. I played off.
Hey, my day-to-day athleticism.
Rico was giving mercy. I don't.
My day-to-day athleticism, I still fall within that category, regardless of what my name is. No. But so with that being said, this was very, very important because, with so many people having to empty out their savings and not even thinking about how do I come up with a solution? What are some options out there? Because I just feel like I just keep hitting the wall. Gosh, but so I just kind of keep hitting the wall. And so one of the things I wanted to kind of highlight on this was this specifically: 79% of millennials in that age range live paycheck to paycheck.
Yep. And
so right here, I wanted to highlight something. The demographic accumulated nearly $4 trillion in debt during the fourth quarter of 2022, reflecting a substantial $140 billion rise from the preceding quarter, right? And so this was something that I really wanted us to talk about because, like I said, just looking at those numbers, the age range, again, 79% of folks, of millennials living paycheck to paycheck, wanted to talk about this.
Go ahead, Cam.
Okay. So, no, this is huge. I mean, this is, like G said, this is a main subject that we speak to our friends, our family, our clients, honestly, everybody. And unfortunately, I myself, and I think we've talked about this, is being in debt has almost become or it's such a normality for everybody now, right? I thought the same thing, a couple of years ago before I really started getting educated on money. It's everybody got debt. It's all good. Everybody's anywhere from $10,000 to apparently $80,000 in any type of debt. And unfortunately, you had the Gen Xers, which is, they were big on cash for everything. And then you had millennials when credit cards first came out. By the way, in case you didn't know, the first credit card was in Fresno, California. They sent them out. So check it out. Check it out. This scheme though. They sent out these credit cards that were $500 to every resident in Fresno. And so everybody thought it was free money. Right. And so just fun fact. Sorry, I had to just drop that. And so, so that being said, and because of COVID and interest rates and things like that, it's overwhelmingly become just a normality to stack and stack and stack until, we have debt consolidations. We we have all these things that help you stay in debt, but help you manage the debt.
Right.
And unfortunately, millennials, because we grew up in this age of technology where things became more and more accessible, especially credit cards and credit and loans and things of that nature, we have really mainly fallen prey to that system.
Right.
And so, that's why, Gen Xers and Yers, Gen Ys and Gen Zs are learning more not to do that because the internet and information that's out there, but we came up when there wasn't as much information. And so a lot of us are institutionalized just to think that it's okay. Yeah.
And speaking of which, while we're on this big debt, and there's so many, I mean, obviously, again, 79% of millennials are just paycheck to paycheck, right? So when you're looking at debt, just kind of a shameless plug, tune into our Money Mondays, and that's something that we actually share as far as giving practical principles of how you can actually help yourself pull yourself out of debt. And then, so I just wanted to kind of tune back into our live on Monday, and we talk specifically about solutions.
I have no shame in plugging that. You need to check us out all week. We got shows Monday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and you can join our group where we talk all about this type of stuff. It ain't shameless because it's there to help you guys.
Yeah, and it's of value.
It's value. So
go ahead, Rico.
I'm thinking about, like Cam said, obviously we grew up and everyone's just indoctrinated us that debt was the way to go because it was, and then we were more accessible to it. And I think Gen X, their reluctance to ever have debt at all pushed us to the other extreme, right? Yeah. Because they were just like cash basis. And so you can't even get them to understand the way debt works. And then with us, you can't get us to use debt correctly. Right. So Gen Z, we got to make sure that we're training them up in the right way. Here's the thing that I need people to understand about millennials. Say whatever you want. We get a very bad rep, but the existence of the world, the way that it is right now is because of millennials. Right. And no, I'm just saying, because Gen X was, Bill Gates, Jobs, right? So that was them. So the creation of it, right? The genesis. But then to take it to that next level, you needed the Zucks, you needed Elon, you needed those people, right? Yep. And so these are millennial age people. And I want you to understand something. As I was getting out of college, G as well, because he's not that much older than me. As we were getting out of college, right? 2008 happened. I need people to understand that. One of the biggest recessions since the Great Depression happened. And we were just going into the workforce or getting in there, trying to make our name in it. And then backdoor, right? COVID happens. When we get to the precipice, when we're getting to that point to where we're 10, 12 years into our careers, we finally bounce back off of, 2008, we're building ourselves, we're good. And then this happens again. Black Swan event, right? And they say every 8 to 15 years, really every 12 to 15, something happens.
Right.
But what I need people to understand is that we're going through this, and don't forget, we were 15, 16 in high school when 9/11 happened.
Yep.
So what you have is a series of very traumatic events, and so you get PTSD financially. And so we start making decisions based upon emotions, and the PTSD weighs over into the way that we live our everyday lives.
Yep.
And so that goes to the decisions that we make. Why? Because you want to go out to eat, because you want to feel good, right? Because you've been through a lot of traumatic things. You want some sense of it's a coping mechanism. So you want to go out and enjoy yourself, kids drinks, relax, blah, 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 instead of going home and cooking the food, and it's cheaper and it's probably better for you, right? Your decisions and how you handle your children, you pay them, you pay whatever, you give them all the games and the PS5s and blah, 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 right? Because you never had it because you were traumatically affected by your parents not having it. We grew up in the crack era. So these are all these different things, and it's really emotional. It's from childhood, and it's emotional, and that turns into a lack of financial literacy and the creation of additional debt. But it's all linked to emotion. This is the human psyche. And so you think it's just all like based upon, numbers that we have. It's not all about that. It all goes down to you as a person, as a child, the things you experience. And our generation has been through quite a bit, actually.
Yeah.
A heck of a lot, because we were born in crack. And your parents may not have been around. I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I'm just saying you might have uncles, parents that were hit by that and affected by that. You didn't see your parents. A lot of us grew up in the system. A lot of us didn't have very present parents. There's all this different stuff that happens. And so, of course, the debt is going to be higher. Right. So we're just looking for coping mechanisms. That's all our generation has ever done to do. And so now as we get older and we're starting to move into this transition of being like the OG, right? We want to make sure that we're giving out that information to the younger generations to say, don't do like we did. We want to teach you how to be better. Now that you're 20 years old, let's put you in the right position. So that's what I got from that.
That's good stuff. So as
Right
we wrap up, I know right on time. As we wrap up, I'll just kind of
I was looking at the clock.
if anyone's watching that is if you're single, right, start doing research. Take debt very seriously. Obviously there's good debt, there's bad debt, but take control of that. If you are a father, mother, if you have a family, you have kids, you have just people that you love, number one, get educated or get more educated when it comes to debt, and then teach that, right? Something that what sparked that thought is, as we were having this conversation, I was thinking about all my kids, and I was just like, again, this gives me more inspiration to really help them understand, and not only provide them a foundation, but help them understand what the foundation is financially, right? And so that they can build their own financial house. And so how this is impacting so many people. Obviously, we have our watchers who are single, who are in relationships, have kids or whatever. And so that's the call. That's my challenge for you today as you go into your weekend.
Yeah. So I had a conversation over the weekend, and one of the things someone said is that there's the three things that you don't talk about, right? Right? What is it? Finances, religion, and politics. All three things make the world go round. But we have been taught to not have those conversations, right? So that being said, don't start fights or nothing with people over these things. But like Rico especially talks about is have an educated conversation, do research, right? And the reason I say that is because the people who are running, who have the most money in the world, those are the things that they talk about the most. And so you need to change your mindset to get to that point where you too are discussing that with your circle. And if the people in your circle don't want to talk about any of those things, you might need to find a new circle. I'm not saying the guy talk about all three, but at the minimum, y'all should be talking about money, secondary politics, and then you can talk about religion, whatever. But if the people you're around, you guys aren't talking about how to level up, don't assume that everybody has the same knowledge, because most people don't. So do yourself, your circle, your family, your friends a favor, and just open your mouth to start the conversation.
Say something.
And you can always message us if you want a conversation starter. I'll shoot you one.
Yeah.
The highest elevation of people, and that's my last thing. The highest elevation of people, when you elevate yourself, right, mastery to the highest level, you can have the conversation about all three of them, and no one's going to leave angry.
Facts.
Because you'll just understand that that's just like to the human sauce, right, of humanity. Their decision just adds a little bit more flavor, and so it's okay. It's not like as if we all have to be bland, right? And so when you get to that level, you start to see that those things kind of don't matter. But you need to have those conversations, especially about finances, finances and politics. Don't do identity politics. And I don't even get hard into politics, but don't do identity politics, because that makes you myopic. You don't even see the whole picture. It's silly. And I think one thing about millennials that I have to say, us as a group of generation, we're moving away from that. We're more like, what is it actually? Because we kind of see things and we're like, I see Democrat and Republicans go out.
We're starting to connect the dots.
Yeah, we're like, okay, they're not really separate. You're just playing this game. And so, yeah, we don't want to play that game. So I'll say that. And I'll also say, like you said, send this out to, 5 people that need this information. This is very, very relative information. This is something, maybe if someone hears something, even as a conversation starter, like Cam said, maybe they have 30, 45 minutes. They're going to be on a plane, right? They're going to go on a trip. You can download this on our YouTube, right? Go download it, get the video, and let them just sit and watch it. Maybe it cultivates that conversation so you don't have to get into the disgruntled state with them. You can just have the conversation based upon the video. What were your takeaways from the video? What'd you think? And then you can go into the conversation. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, and thank you for all the comments. You guys were live today. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And then with that being said, it's been Financial Friday, and we will see you guys next Friday.